If you're an engineer or operations champion trying to get this past the CFO, what numbers or arguments actually move the needle? What should be in that initial business case presentation?
This is an excellent question too, because I think this is where a lot of leaders maybe get hung up on, even if they know there's probably some sort of need. But I would think about this and probably frame this, one, just in terms of thinking about the cost and making sure that you've captured that. And then, separating, making sure you understand the benefits. And from a cost standpoint, the three elements that we see in projects that succeed are, one, just, what's the CapEx? So what's that upfront capital expenditure expense? So that's going to go towards the actual installation or maybe IT infrastructure. A lot of times there may be a software need or some kind of software integration work, but that's going to fall generally under a CapEx bucket. Then you're going to have the actual implementation cost, which is going to be related to project management. So you want to understand this, what is the project management needs going to look like? That's typically outsourced. A lot of companies probably don't have project management in-house in some cases to manage these projects. And then with the project management, you might have some consulting cost and travel with that. But so the implementation is the second. And then the third is that sort of the lifetime maintenance and, what do the service and parts contracts look like 3, 5, 7, 10 years down the road? So understanding from a cost perspective, what's your CapEx? What's the implementation cost? And then what's the lifetime maintenance cost of that? Those are the three elements that if you at least have, quality answers or you can be in the ballpark there to start off, that puts you in a good spot. And from a benefits standpoint, a big one I would say to start is with productivity of just making sure that you've got strong command of what's the increase in productivity per unit. So if you're manual operating, currently you're putting, 1,000 units per an operation per day, is that going to increase to 1,500 and go up 15%? Or maybe that goes from 1,000 to 3,000, but having a good understanding of what you think the productivity input is going to be, because what that one then a lot of times will help feed is just thinking about the overall scalability, especially if it's a medium or a large customer. But a lot of times what we'll see in medium or large customers is they're trying to solve an issue at one warehouse or location, but they may have 5 or they may have 50 other locations that already exist, or they've got plans to build those ones or start operations there. And you think about the scalability gains where, if you can solve that in that initial location and increase productivity 50%, 200%, well, from a real estate footprint standpoint, that can be massively beneficial. If you've got 5, 10, however many facilities maybe over a couple of years that you've got to outfit and stand operations up in. So the benefits piece, actually, there's a lot more there to really think about. And this is a part that goes back to the sensitivity analysis of really understanding, what are the long-term growth needs of your business. And if you really need to scale, that's where the automation benefits can get pretty substantial. Maybe the last part I'll hit on with the benefits piece is when it comes to estimating the cost savings, that's probably maybe the easiest in some cases, because a lot of times that is primarily tied to labor. But from an 80-20 standpoint, you can pretty quickly calculate some of the cost savings, but it's somewhat capped. That's more of the 20%. It's the productivity and the scalability. That's the 80% that automation can give you. And again, if you've got to massively expand your company across multiple locations, that's when automation, I think, really becomes something that should be understood of just how much upside is there to capture.